We have so much to get to this morning. Unbelievable weekend ahead of us. Pardon me. In the NFL, plus the college. I'm choked up just thinking about it. Roll the highlight from last night. It was 102 degrees in the desert, but they thankfully play indoors. So all was well. Kyle defeat. The Seahawks are 3-1. Quickly, I want to talk about Marvin Harrison Jr., Harry, because he was the 4th pick in the draft. He was drafted ahead of Malik Neighbors. He was one of the most highly touted receivers coming into the draft that I can ever remember, and there have been struggles. What are you seeing?
Well, number one, this is a wide receiver and a young man that has intense pressure on him. You're the son of a Hall of Famer, Marvin Harrison Sr. You're drafted 4th overall. A lot of people were saying that you were the best thing to come out of Ohio State when you came out and got drafted. But right now, for Jonathan Gannon as the head coach and also for Monty Ossenfort as a GM, you have to be very, very patient with him. You go grab him, you put your arm around him, you allow the head coach to coach him up. But you have to say to him, hey, we're going to need you. We believe in you, because he's going through tough times right now. And I've been there, Greeny. My second road game in my rookie career, I dropped 3 balls versus Carolina. But the veterans that we had, Roddy White, and we also had Michael Jenkins, and then Brian Finneran, those guys comforted me and gave me the assurance that, hey, I can play in this league and I will be okay.
Quick take, Bart.
Well, listen, I've been around a receiver that caught the yips, and a lot of times the guys can't recover from it. You talk about the immense pressure that this kid has. You got to try and figure out what type of offense, what type of system will they read. I don't know if he's forced to read the safeties post-snap, and that's slowing him down. But he's not playing with the speed that we're accustomed to seeing him that he had when he was in Ohio State.
And he was such a special player on the college level. One way or another, Arizona, its 2nd consecutive really tough loss to take. And Seattle looking very good. Going into week 4, the NFC West has probably emerged as the best division in football. They're the only division with all 4 teams at 500 or better, and pretty much the losses have come internally. Seattle's only loss was in the division. Arizona's 2 losses are in the division. Mike Tannenbaum, how about the division?
It's very strong, and Seattle is a complete team. It's a very simple formula. Sam Darnold's 3rd in the league in yards per attempt. They're number 2 overall in explosive play rate. And then on the other side, Hembo gave me a great stat. Right now, they're leading the league in sack screening, but they're only blitzing at the 2nd fewest rate. So meaning they could get there with 4. When you can rush the passer and make big plays on offense, you're going to be hard to beat.
Darnold is so comfortable right now. He's finally the guy. Bart, you're rolling your eyes, but I think it's because
No, I'm not.
You say, hey, this is a guy who's been this place, this place, this place, this place, this place. They paid him. They told him he's the man. Last night when they needed a play, you called him Jackson, him, and Jigba. Like, Darnold led them down the field. They get the plays when they need them. And last year, besides those 8 days that were a horror show, he did the same exact thing for the Vikings.
Yeah.
Greeny, give me a second.
Yeah.
We need that $20 after the show. Your phone going off while we live on air. I need the damn money, Bart.
With friends like you, who need enemies? Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
That's the beginning of what should be an outstanding week 4 in the NFL. Let's look ahead to the rest of the games with a fired-up Friday. Peter, Packers, Cowboys, Sunday night. What are you fired up to see?
You cannot on the big screen. All eyes on him. NBC sending an entire crew there. This is the game of the week.
Yeah, we'll be all over this one as the day continues. We'll also look at Eagles, Bucks, undefeated teams in the NFC. Harry, what are you fired up to see?
I need the Eagles to continuously free those wide receivers. I'm talking about A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. We know Todd Bowles. He loves the blitz. It's going to be one-on-one coverage on the outside. Free my dogs, please.
Ravens and Chiefs. Losers going to be 1-3. Bartholomew, what are you looking forward to seeing?
Well, Greeny, adversity doesn't define character, it reveals it. So we know what the DNA of both of these organizations are. Who's going to come out with a sense of desperation and say that I refuse to leave this stadium without a victory? Lamar Jackson never won in Kansas City. Be a great time to get his first win.
They've lost 2 games this year in devastating fashion. That Buffalo game that they just basically give away in the 4th quarter, have the big lead, and then Derrick Henry with the fumble the other night against the Lions on Monday Night Football, which leads you, I mean, the conventional wisdom is the Chiefs' division is better, so they need to win more. But you're looking more at Baltimore.
Oh, it's everything for Baltimore. And I know it's not a must-win game. It's not in the division, and it's early. It's still September. But the way that they have looked on national TV in 2 big spots against 2 big offenses on defense has to be concerning. And it has to be concerning because it's all 1st and 2nd round players on that defense. You look up and down the roster, it's Kyle Hamilton, a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. You've obviously got Roquan Smith, who they brought in from Chicago. He's a Defensive Player of the Year candidate every year. They are loaded with defensive talent, and yet this defense is the worst in the league right now. And the question is, Greeny, is it because they played two great offenses, or are they just bad on defense?
Well, that's the thing. Sometimes these stats get skewed early because they've played Buffalo and they've played Detroit, so maybe it isn't as bad as it looks, or maybe it is, Bart. You know that defense better than anybody. At least you embodied it for a long time. What's going on?
Well, I believe that we'll get it fixed, right? And they built this team to try and beat the Kansas Cities of the world by going and investing heavily inside of their secondary. I think Orr's going to have to kind of figure out what he did last year because it was called for his job being the first time, caller. But remember, that's without Mbike. This is Medibike. This is without, Travis Jones. Van Noy isn't playing now. They'll get it figured out. And once they get some more firepower on offense, too, that defense won't have to stop the run because other teams will be trying to catch up from behind.
I feel like more people are worried about Kansas City than are worried about Baltimore at this point. Mike T, strangely, you're not one of them.
Not at all, because help is on the way. When you're in the season, you say, how do we get better, Greeny? Xavier Worthy's been dealing with an injury. Hopefully he plays this week. And then Rashee Rice is a difference maker. There's very few teams that can add a player of the caliber of Rashee Rice this season. They're going to be absolutely fine. And with Cincinnati going on with Joe Burrow's injury, Houston being disappointing, there's more opportunities to make the playoffs in the AFC. The Chiefs will be fine.
What are you looking at? What are you checking his cut?
The Chiefs aren't going to make the playoffs?
You don't believe the Chiefs make the playoffs this year?
Listen, I know I called this a couple of years ago, and I was maybe 2 years too early. But, when
they've made the Super Bowl each of those 2 years.
Right, yeah. But when you talk about, what they have coming back, will they get there in time? Because I know Harry knows their schedule and he wants to speak on that. But can they get reinforcements before the Chargers have run away with the division?
It's a murderer's row of teams they have coming up.
Greeny, before I even get to the schedule, watching that game on Sunday Night Football, if the Giants had competent quarterback play, the Kansas City Chiefs would have lost another football game.
Yeah.
So I'm not excited about their win on Sunday Night Football. I feel the same way before the game that I did before the game, after the game. Now, when it comes to Kansas City, what's their offensive identity? Do y'all know what it is?
I don't know.
This is the very first time in the Kansas City Chiefs era under Patrick Mahomes that we don't know what their identity is. But let's take a look at their schedule, Greeny. They have the Baltimore Ravens, and if they don't win this ball game, that's why I think it's a very, very important game for Kansas City, more so on their side of things. Look who they have coming up. They have Baltimore this weekend on Monday Night Football, the Jacksonville Jaguars. They have the Detroit Lions. We know a divisional game against the Las Vegas Raiders. That can go anyway.
Right.
They have the Commanders, the Buffalo Bills, the Denver Broncos, and the Colts all coming up.
It's a murderer's row.
That's brutal. You see, the analytics, I think the point Mike made was a good one, lest it get buried. With Cincinnati's quarterback injury, that might sort of open up a slot in the AFC playoff picture. Maybe both these teams wind up there when it's all said and done. Their quarterbacks are too good. Their pedigree are too good. But as far as being legitimate contenders, because these are Super Bowl or bust kind of teams, neither one of them looks it so far.
No, and this is that 4 o'clock prime game where it's, okay, the NFL schedule makers, we're going to put Ravens, Chiefs, week 4. And both these teams are struggling. So there is a desperation feel to this. So, yes, they might all make the playoffs, but you can't look at those two logos right there and be like, oh, those two teams are what we thought they would be before the season started.
No, of course not. But it's still September, and we'll see what happens. Joe Fortenbaugh, as always, is with us on Football Fridays to give us the betting perspective on things. So as we look at Ravens and Chiefs, I'm looking at Baltimore, a 2.5-point road favorite in this game. What are you thinking?
Anything short of the key number 3, we're playing Baltimore here. Lamar Jackson in his career, very good when coming off a loss, 20-4. He's also piloting an offense that scored 30 or more points in all 3 games this season. So ask yourself this. What happens if Baltimore scores 30 points in this game? Can Kansas City's offense keep pace enough to keep it within the 3 points? After all, Kansas City's defense, something we didn't mention, ranks in the bottom half of the league in both EPA and efficiency. They also have problems running the football. From an efficiency standpoint, it's not working. Bottom half of the league. Ultimately, Baltimore's got higher upside, which is why we laid the 2.5 with the Ravens.
And you see Lamar Jackson has been really tough to beat coming off a loss. We'll see. It is the traditional matchup of these powers in the AFC. Doesn't feel it so far early this year, but it's an important game in every other way. Coming up, it is time for the Parsons